Many of you seem bewildered. You seem shocked. You do not know what this is. The paradigm you currently see yourself in, or find yourself in, I should say. For roughly a year ago, we did not have a secret police force in masks terrorizing the entire country, murdering US citizens at will. In fact, with instructions to do just that. That is how fast it can change. It can turn. That is the degree to which it can turn. And it will go much darker, son. Do you want to know what it is? For that is why I am here, to show you what it is. You are in the apocalypse. You've heard of it. If you are not part of the church, if you know nothing of a thing called the Bible, then you will find yourself at this particular moment in utter shock and not understanding what is taking place before you. Do not feel bad. You are not alone. Over 99% of the population are right where you are. They have absolutely no clue what is taking place before their eyes. They have no clue what the paradigm they currently find themselves in is about, why it's happening, what it is, how long it will continue. That is why I'm here once more. You are in what is called the apocalypse. It is explained quite clearly in a book called the Bible. It does not matter whether you believe in it, respect it, hate it, love it. It matters not what your opinion of religion, Christ, not religion, whatever is. Meaningless, son. For you are not God. You did not create anything. Only God has the right to decide the paradigm, wouldn't you say? Whether we like it or not. So what part of the apocalypse are you in? The part where the Antichrist has his reign. That's what you are witnessing. That's why the level and amount of evil passing before your five senses is at so great a scale. You are witnessing the Antichrist. Not an Antichrist, the Antichrist, described literally in a book called Revelation and in other parts of Scripture, but we do not have time for all that. A hermeneutics lesson. For there are not enough years left. So what you will see is evil upon evil, murder upon murder, thievery and grift upon thievery and grift, and it will be all day, 24/7, 7 bloody days, a bloody week, until the man called Christ returns. All of what you are seeing is leading to one moment. A temple in a place called Israel will be rebuilt in the next few years. Donnie, the Antichrist, the orange abomination, in case you were wondering who it was, will violate the sanctity of the temple, will blaspheme God, his tabernacle, and those that dwell in heaven. And what will take place at the temple once it's rebuilt, I assume right at the very beginning, is the Antichrist will declare himself as God in some way. That is where all the bullshit, the cascading bullshit, is leading to that moment. I've been yelling about this man being the Antichrist for 10 years, since 2015. What you have witnessed recently, 2 abject murders and executions upon the street of U.S. citizens, and not the normal kind, not black males this time. For there is a different point being made at the moment besides racism. A broader point. That very evil, a man who did nothing wrong, a woman who did nothing wrong, executed mercilessly on camera. We all witnessed it, yet the Reich flips it upon everyone else. No one is to blame, or excuse me, everyone is to blame, but the Reich and the very murderers that sent the men out to shoot these 2, and the murderers themselves that pulled the trigger. That is called inversion of reality. Adolf Hitler, Vladimir Putin, and now Donnie Shitbags and the Reich are famous for it. Inversion of reality is born abjectly of the devil. It is the devil's favorite tactic. After Donnie Shitbags, the diapered, smelly Antichrist, violates that temple in some way, all hell will break loose, which will lead to the final moment, called Armageddon. For it appears that the evil men of the world will somehow know that Christ is returning momentarily. I don't know how they will know that, but they will. For they will assemble upon the battlefield against him, the most famous battlefield, the one you've heard of all your life. It will be the imp, also known as the devil, and his Antichrist, and his false prophet, and his minions' final desperate attempt to defeat God. Christ shall then return, turn every one of them into a cherry pie consistent like substance. That substance will stack horse bridle high. The vultures shall feast on the minions of the Antichrist for months. The Antichrist and the false prophet will be thrown living into the lake, along with all of their minions, once they've been killed. And Christ shall reign. The imp, for some reason I do not know bloody why, gets to live a little longer, gets released eventually. I'm hoping the time he gets released is very short. They say for one day. But there is a saying in Scripture, a very convenient one. One day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. I don't expect you mortals to understand that. I do understand it. But I have a question. Which will it be this time? One day or 1,000 years? For I do not understand the imp receiving so many chances. But he will. And he will go in after the false prophet and the Antichrist. And Christ shall have his reign. What that looks like, I do not know. And that is the paradigm you are in, whether you like it or not. Now let's begin. I didn't mean to do all that, because I got a million pictures here, man, and it ain't good. And I'm very tired, and I was thinking about not doing this, and I thought about the man that was gunned down on the fucking street like a goddamn animal. So the Nazi Hobbit did a bunch of statements, interviews, all kinds of great stuff today. Lied his ass off. Further secured his place in the lake. And it looked like this. CNN. Bovino, he was in the scene actively impeding and assaulting law enforcement. He wasn't doing any of that. We all saw the tape. But, you know, again, this is Hitler land. This is Antichrist land. Invert reality. Bash, but he wasn't impeding. He was filming, which is a legal thing to do in the United States. Bovino, Dana, let's not freeze frame adjudicate this now. That's the big saying coming from the right, because they know when you slow down the pictures and look at them freeze frame, it looks a million times fucking worse. So they came up with the talking point. The midget Nazi in all his glory. Let's not freeze frame adjudicate here. No, let's slow it down. Let's look at it frame by frame. Let's look at it in regular speed. And you know what? No matter how you look at it, you fucking cunt Nazi destined to burn, it looks like a goddamn execution on the street by a bunch of fucking cunts in masks that are all going to burn with their little Nazi hobbit. So the talking point of the day, the new talking point you'll be hearing from this point forward, as they execute more people and we get it on film and we slow it down, look at it individually, frame by frame, to see exactly how the mass cunts destined to burn murdered whoever they murdered that day. They're going to say over and over, let's not freeze frame. Why not? And it doesn't matter how we look at it, son. You're still a goddamn murderer. The man don't fall for talking points like freeze frame. This is Ocasio-Cortez. Today, DHS assassinated a VA nurse in the street. Bondi is attempting to extort voter files, and half the country is bracing on the eve of a potentially crippling ice storm with FEMA gutted. So what is the president up to? Having movie night at the White House. He's unfit, yeah. And she's talking about, on tonight's White House agenda, Trump and guests will get a private screening of Melania. You know, the documentary Bezos gave Donnie a $40 million bribe for. That literally no one wants to see. And I mean, nobody wants to see that. It was a straight bribe. My God. Yeah, so that's what he was doing yesterday as the country was in turmoil. And he's in hiding. You notice, Donnie, whenever he poops his pants, he hides out for a couple days. You ever notice that? I have. He knows what he's doing is evil. And he knows he's responsible. And that's why he hides. He don't want to answer the questions. He'd rather have the pock-faced hag do it. He'd rather have the fucking little midget Nazi do it. He'd rather have the cross-eyed podcaster do it. Because he's a goddamn coward who sends other men out to murder for him, and riot for him, and coup for him, and kill for him. And this is exactly what he wanted. This right here, what I'm about to show you. Freeze frame, we call it. Right, you midget cunt? Take a look. Now you know how he got shot in the back. He was kind of leaning away and turned when they capped him 3 times in the back. The brave cunt's destined for the lake. I don't know. Doesn't look like he's fighting him to me. It's like he's getting shot in the goddamn back to me. That makes him even more of a coward, by the way, shooting him in the back. This is America now. Look at this. Guy did absolutely nothing wrong. Even had a gun on him. He didn't even pull it on these motherfuckers. That's the dystopia you're in. They've got us this far along where they've executed 2 people and there's not 9 million people out on the street right now protesting. That's how I know it's over. I knew it was over in January, so I begged people not to do it. Disgusting. Anyone that defends this, like Ron says, you're human goddamn garbage. I won't even entertain it. Tell it to the devil. Tell it to God when you're standing before him. I have no use for it. Second public execution. Almost 3 of the women they shot 5 times, they tried to kill her too. And they were given those instructions before they left, before they were deployed. This is what they were sent out to do, not round up illegal immigrants. Again, the Nazi hobbit and Dana Bash. He said he wanted to massacre law enforcement. What evidence do you have that he wanted to massacre law enforcement? It doesn't look like that. Nazi hobbit. I believe the fantastic training that our law enforcement partners have prevented any specific shootings of law enforcement. So good job by our law enforcement in taking him down before he was able to do that. He wasn't trying to do that. He was helping a woman. They executed him. They were never in danger, and everyone knows it. And the Nazi hobbit's going to burn like pancakes. You know, he's lying about a dead man. Utterly inverting it, too. It's totally the other way around. They literally attacked that man, and all he did was help that woman they pushed down. See, evil, bully little cunts like that, when they see someone help someone they're victimizing, that makes them even madder. Because it makes them realize how shitty they are. And they don't like that. In other words, it's a mirror for them to see themselves. And their psyches can't handle it. Because they're scum. And they know it. That's why they pushed the woman in the first place. And then they proved they were even worse scum by just executing that man. And that's after they took his weapon, by the way. Then you have this little Nazi hobbit cunt out lying about him. 2 days in a row now. Does it effortlessly. Nothing to him. It feels as though you're blaming the victim here. You ready for this one? Straight inversion. This is Adolf Hitler right here, baby. This is what you've done, cunts. The victims are the Border Patrol agents. I'm not blaming the Border Patrol agents. The victims are the Border Patrol agents. Really? I thought it was the dead guy. They're not dead. That's inversion of reality. That's Nazism. That's Satan. Right there. And the fact that he can just do this so easily, oh my God. Do you know how evil this little fucking imp is? If he'll talk like this, if he'll talk about a dead man, that blood is on his hands as well. He gives these instructions for these people to go out and do this shit. Just as responsible. And then when you double down on it and go be a murder apologist on the news channels and defame a dead man, utterly defame him. Oh my God, it just makes it so much worse. So if he's willing to do that in public and put his name on all this and be a murder apologist, imagine what he says in private. Imagine what he does in private. This is one evil little imp cunt, man. He just said the victims were the executioners. I wonder, if I'll get to sit by the lake. I wonder if I used to sit by the lake. I thought about that today. I thought about sitting there with my people and just, relaxing and seeing the people burn. And there's been stories in scripture where that type of stuff is actually happening, and the people are still alive and they can still communicate and see. And I kind of pictured myself chilling with my people on the banks of the lake and them saying things. And them seeing us as they burn. I wonder if that's possible. And they would say things like beg for help, cry out. It would be further torture them seeing others out that are not burning. I just wonder if that's possible. I have a feeling it is. I have a feeling I've been there. Maybe my ass going there. Maybe I'm going to get thrown in too. Who the fuck knows? Again, I take nothing for granted. And I expect typical. That's all I expect. Because I don't know nothing else. But yes, I was picturing that today. And you know what? I'm going to take a break already. Because what's the goddamn difference? Just going to wake up tomorrow a zombie again. Tired as fuck. Fucking difference does it make? Another thing, can I smoke a cigarette by the lake? Can I light it on the lake? Like light it off a Bovino as he's burning in the lake? I know you think that's mean, right? You think that's vicious? You think that's evil? That man's lying about dead people that he just had murdered. Never forget that. Oh, and he'd love to do it to you, too. Never forget that. Hey, quick sip of water. Okay, this is Stephen Miller's post from yesterday. And Ron Filipkowski is pointing out that, and what Stephen said before I show it to you, an assassin tried to murder federal agents, and this is your response. This is why the family of that man should sue immediately. Just for what he said alone. Just for defamation. It doesn't have to be against the government. It could be against Stephen Miller himself. J.D. Vance reposted it. That's what Ron is pointing out. So the couch fucking pedophile and the 3-foot Nazi. One calling him an assassin, one co-signing it. When's the press going to ask JD why he changed his name twice? That's a great question for JD, the couch fucking pedophile. Wouldn't you say? I would. And again, when you think I'm being cruel when I talk about these people, remember, they'd love to murder you. Put you in a camp, use you as slave labor, bankrupt you. This is why, again, for 10 years, this is why I've been yelling and people have been, look, why is this guy yelling? Why is he taking this so seriously? Because I knew those two people are going to be executed on the fucking street like animals. I knew that type shit was coming. And guess what? I was right. So again, if you ever think I'm being harsh, son, you better recognize these people deserve much more than what I'm giving them. They'd love to do it to you, that's for sure. They've already done it to a few of us. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara, people have had enough. This is the third shooting in less than 3 weeks. The MPD went the entire year last year recovering about 900 guns from the street, arresting hundreds of violent offenders, and we didn't shoot anyone. This is not sustainable. Indeed, the point is to shoot people. The cops went around, rounded up guns, arrested people. They didn't have to cap nobody. Isn't that amazing? They took on real criminals too. Not like what the Gestapo's doing. They were deployed to subjugate the masses. That's all. Kill us, steal, cause chaos, havoc, cause riots. Why do you think they send a little midget hobbit Nazi out? To invert reality and get everyone madder, rile you up. They're looking for the Reichstag fire so they can do the martial law. Your country's over. There will be no midterms. There will be no 4-year election. Staged a coup last time. Were you paying attention, son? Adam Kinzinger, after all, maybe it did matter that Kristi Noem killed her dogs. Oh, fuck yeah, it mattered. And it's one thing killing an animal because you're evil or whatever. It's another thing to put it in a book and boast about it like it's a great, wonderful thing. And then end the book, the big ending is shooting Biden's dog. No, that's a sociopath. And she proves every day on camera she's a sociopath. She's disgusting. She's a pock-faced, anorexic fucking hag with fake tits. She's fucking disgusting. Yeah, it was a big mistake putting that in charge, yeah. Yeah. Obviously, right? 2 American citizens are dead. And don't worry, it'll come to your people too. You saw what happened to Charlie, right? Did you think only libtards were going to suffer during this and die? Oh boy, son, do you have a rude goddamn awakening coming. That's why I'm here, to let you know and guide the good people through it. This is the cross-eyed podcaster. And he's on, what is this, Fox? Lying his ass off about a dead man they executed. Now the blood's on his cross-eyed hands, too. You cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest you want. Yes, you can. It's been done over and over again. Proud, all those different right-wing groups. They bring the big rifles, too. They don't bring a little pistol. That's a complete lie, fabrication. And it's not a justification to execute someone on the street. Like I said, you people never believed in jack fucking shit. It's that simple. You don't have a right to break the law. He didn't break the law. Open carry, he had a permit to do that. Perfectly legal. He didn't even pull the piece. Got straight executed. This cross-eyed cunt is lying about a dead man that his people murdered. These are the authorities in Minnesota giving a press conference yesterday, I believe. You got signed judicial warrant to gain access to the scene and were still denied access by federal agents? Yes, that's accurate. That was the press asking him that. Yes, that's accurate. Yep. That's how big the cover-up is. That's how serious they are about it. Absolute immunity. 2 murderers have gotten away. With abject murder right in front of us, like Dottie said, he could shoot someone on a 5th Avenue and still keep going. It will get worse. The cross-eyed podcaster again, they brought the whole team out. They are really worried they worried the pitchfork's coming out on this one. They won't, don't worry. It's already written. I already know what's going to happen. There is outrage across the country that there is another killing. Someone is dead at the hands of Border Patrol. What can you tell us? That's Bartiromo asking the cross-eyed podcaster. You do not get to attack law enforcement officials in this country without any repercussions. We're not messing around. The guy didn't attack anyone. They attacked him. That's a complete inversion again by the cross-eyed podcaster. And they straight up executed him right on the street. Now we've got the pock-faced, puppy-killing, anorexic fucking hag. Always making things worse. And I mean always. These are not just agitators anymore. They're violent protests. Frankly, this didn't turn violent until we uncovered the fraud in Minneapolis. No, it turned violent the second ICE was deployed and they were given instructions to be violent. Way before Minneapolis, my God. It's a million stories. The protests aren't violent. I haven't seen one violent protest yet. I haven't seen one real fight with law enforcement since Donnie took office. Not one real fight. Nothing of any kind of scale. Nothing. So that's a complete fabrication. I don't even know if there was a protest at that incident. I don't think that was even a protest where that guy got killed, where that woman got pushed to the ground. I think that was just a few people during an enforcement action. So even that part's a lie. The fact that they're agitating. No, the agitators are the guys in masks that were set out to agitate. Literally. And murder people, obviously. The instructions were given. The go-ahead has been given. It could be any one of you tomorrow. Any one of you. Again, the pock-faced hag. Did Alex Preddy say he was going to kill law enforcement? How do you know that was his intent? Part of the investigation will be hearing from those agents on the ground, but we do not. But he came to that scene and impeded a law enforcement operation. No, he didn't impede anything. He didn't attack nobody. He helped a woman, and then he got executed for it. That's all that fucking happened. Fucking hag. A striking similarity between Nazi Germany and today. Are we still being dramatic? I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of similarity between these two pictures, and that's the intent. That was the intent. What you see in that Nazi Germany picture was the intent from Jan 20. For you. No matter who you are. If you get on the wrong side of the Reich. And again, little children, I've explained this for fucking 10 years over and over again. Fascism, tyranny, it doesn't matter how you vote. It doesn't matter if you're on the same team as them. Because the dictator and the Reich always end up executing people out of sheer paranoia. Which means a lot of people on the team get executed too. For very minor infractions or none at all. That's the team you're on now. Jerk off. Again, I want you to look at just the old Nazi side, not the new Nazi side. That was their intent from January 20, to be able to do that to people on camera, in public, and no one do a fucking thing about it. That is the experiment you are in. They've already succeeded twice. They've already won. Yes, one comment. In Nazi Germany, they waited so long that it was too late. In the USA, they waited too long that it's too late. Do Americans really believe that Trump and his Gestapo will simply disappear even if he loses the election? If there are even any elections at all, right? That's somebody from another country saying that. And they're commenting on the picture I just showed you. Back to the Nazi Hobbit. Are the agents who were involved still on the job? Nazi Hobbit says yes. Of course, that's meant to enrage you. That's why he's on the show. That's why he had no problem giving that answer. It's meant to enrage you, to get you to do some crazy shit. If they're getting this comfortable murdering people in broad daylight, imagine what they're doing to the people in the concentration camps. Indeed. Indeed. We'll get to what they're doing in one camp later in this. Scott Bessent on Newsmax or fucking something. And it looks like this. It's a tragedy when anyone dies, but I can tell you the situation on the ground there is being stirred up by Governor Walz. Here we go, inverted again. It's not the murderers. It's not the masked cunts with the machine guns murdering people and causing the chaos. It's Governor Walz. Right. Again, Minnesota was just fucking fine before you Nazi cunts showed up. I was out there 2 weeks ago. Walz declined to provide a security detail for me to go into the Minnesota Capitol with the state police, so he's fomenting chaos. There are a lot of paid agitators. They keep saying paid agitators, yet they never show any financiers because they're lying. And because they didn't provide this cunt a security detail when he visited the bathhouse, that's the governor causing trouble now? Why should the governor provide these cunts with anything when they deployed a literal military assault force against their fucking state? That's murdered 2 people already. Unbelievable. Maybe it was a mistake to make the head of DHS a woman who shot her dog in the face. Yeah. Again, back to the Nazi Hobbit. Why was an unarmed man shot multiple times by your Border Patrol agents? Dana, you don't know he was unarmed. Yes, we do. There's tape. I don't know he was unarmed. Yes, you do. There's tape. And your guys took the gun, and that's on tape. That's freeze frame adjudication. He's explaining it. The talking point. No, it isn't. At all. That's a talking point by liars born of the devil. And again, it don't matter how you watch the video. It still looks like a goddamn murder to me. Whether you freeze frame adjudicate it or full speed adjudicate it. You fucking hobbit cunt. That's why we have an investigation. There's no investigation. They just sent the Reich out to lie about it. That's all that's going on. And blame everybody else but the murderers and the Reich. Bash, it's not freeze frame, right? It doesn't matter if it is freeze frame. I don't give a fuck about your talking points. No matter how you watch the video. You can watch it on fucking rewind and it still looks like a goddamn murder. The Nazi Hobbit again. We respect Second Amendment rights. No, you don't. You're saying because he had a gun, we had a right to kill him. That's the argument I'm hearing. But those rights don't count when you riot and assault, delay, obstruct, and impede law enforcement. He wasn't doing any of those things. He was helping a woman up. That's all he was doing. So none of those excuses work. Little Hobbit. A lot of self-described Christians seem to be banking on there not being a hell, right? They go to church every Sunday, they vote evil, they preach evil, they're of Satan, they're going to take the mark. But they don't really think they're going to have to pay for this shit. That's what I'm also here to tell you, son. You're going to pay for this shit. And again, your existence, what I'm seeing before me, is what proves it to me. I guess I should thank you. Although I don't feel grateful. Because I would rather you cunts not exist. Your Antichrist never be a thing. Just a money laundering joke like he used to be. And we wouldn't be going through this. But we are. Which tells me, yeah, there's a hell. There's a lake. There's a God. Watching person after person take this path as well. Give it the benefit of the doubt. Also tells me it doesn't make sense. It's like some bad movie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, something like that, where even the closest people to you can just suddenly, I don't know how to put it, be someone else. Your neighbor, your friend, your coworker, your family member, your spouse, your child, your father, your mother, your grandmother. It doesn't make logical sense. It's like it's supernatural. The things coming at me personally, since this really heated up, right around Assassination Day. I can tell someone doesn't want me to speak, or I should say something. And they have come at me many times in many ways. Came at me when I was talking that Cornell shit too. Real hard. Every dark thing you can think of. It's happening again. It never really stopped, honestly. Something really didn't want me to talk about that. Something really doesn't want me to talk about this. I wish I could get into more detail, but I can't. This is already going to be 2.5 fucking hours, and I keep digressing with shit like I just said. I really got to stop doing that. I'm trying to make a point. Yeah, there's a hell. Yeah, there's demons. Yeah. They out right now. They've been out for 10 years hardcore. Coming at me. Trying to stop everything I do. And it's cost me. And what this has all proven to me personally is, yeah, there's a hell, there's a lake, there's a God, there's an imp. So just remember that. And what you have your name on, and what you're going to do when that day of choice comes, and it's coming. Again, the most important decision of your life, and whatever decision you thought was important, was not. This one is. Good luck, son. Dana bashing the midget hobbit Nazi again. It feels like we're in the upside down, where we have law enforcement and conservatives who are very pro-Second Amendment saying the problem was he had a gun. Well, it's an argument of convenience. Conservatives and the conservative movement never actually believed in anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The only one thing they all agree on, it's okay to kill people we don't like, liberals, ethnic minorities. They've always agreed on that. Since before I was born. It's dinner table talk for those cunts. It's a running joke, which is why 2 liberal people have just been executed on the street. And again, all you cunts that have lived that ideology and taken it seriously, and the Reich that's executing that ideology right now, you're the same as Adolf Hitler. That's the literal ideology he preached and executed. The liberals were the stumbling block, not you people. You're the sheep. Last time and this time. Indisputable. No, the problem is he injected himself. He put himself where he did not need to be. You mean helping the woman you were assaulting? And that angered you guys, right? Because you're of the devil and you get off on pushing women to the ground? In a mask with a machine gun? These guys are all gung-ho out on American streets where they have absolute immunity and no one can do anything to them. I'd love to see them get dropped in a war zone and see how tough they really is. I already know what every one of those $3 bitches would do. Every single one, son. They would turn and run. That's what they would do. But they real tough guys would tend to their buddies against, women, children, babies, one man alone. Throw them on the battlefield somewhere. Let's see how tough they really is. I have a feeling they ain't tough at all. But they love picking on women, children, men alone when there's 10 of them, you know. That's standard. Midget Bovino, you know, he hides behind all the bigger dudes. I think I saw him push a woman the other day. He wanted to get some footage of him actually doing something. He like threw a tear gas and he like pushed just like one woman and that was it. It's a little bitch. It's like Miller. Why do you think Miller lives on a base? He's a bitch. He's scared shitless. That's why he's on a military base. And he knows what's coming in the future. No, he didn't inject himself. The Nazis injected themselves into Minnesota and have murdered, raped, pillaged, stolen, caused chaos, agitation, trying to get a response. Trying to get you people to riot or hurt one of them. Their dumbasses don't know that they're bait. But Donnie does. And Donnie knows that some of them are going to die in the future. Because the public's going to get tired of it. Donnie already knows this. The idiots in the masks don't know that. They think they're on a team and that they're cared about. Nope. You guys are bait for when the mob finally says, you know what? We tired of this. And you know what happens then? You're like squid you buy at the bait shop. Or minnows. Or worms. That's what you Gestapo are. I told you I know the future, right? Ducey, this is the pock-faced hag again on Fox News in all her haggard glory. What's your message this morning to Alex Preddy's parents? I grieve for them. We can't have individuals that are impeding law enforcement operations and then showing up with guns and no ID. Oh, it's the law, you got to carry ID now? I didn't know that. You pock-faced liar. It's the law, I can't carry a gun now? I didn't know that. You pock-faced liar. You Second Amendment hypocrite liars that never believed in jack fucking shit. He didn't impede. He didn't have to have his driver's license on him. That's not the law in this fucking country. And you're allowed to have a firearm if you are licensed to do so. That's what you cunts keep telling me, right? The guns are more important than children in this country. That's what you keep telling me. Now the pock-faced hag is saying, you can't just show up with a gun. Then tomorrow she'll do, you know, she'll pose in front of the Christmas tree with her gun. Because again, you people don't believe in jack shit. You never did. You never will. You're not capable. I grieve for them, and then she disparages and lies about their son immediately in the next sentence. I don't know. I thought you people were all about guns. Now the pock-faced hag can't be showing up with guns? Trump posted an unhinged rant about his $400 million ballroom the day after they executed a man on the street. I am not reading this whole thing. This is what Donnie's thinking about on execution day. This thesis about the ballroom that he's stealing money out the Treasury to build. You know how I know? He always mentions that you're not paying for the ballroom. You know what that means? In Donnie speak, you're paying for the fucking ballroom. Because the next breath will talk about, Yeah, I'm going to sue and I get to decide how much I get. I think I'll just take $1 billion. And I know I said I'd give it to charity, but I think I'll just keep it. Nah, I'll give it to charity. He said that out loud in front of you, Marks. You paying for every goddamn brick, son. Donnie don't pay for shit. I'm building on top of everything else that I am doing one of the greatest and most beautiful ballrooms anywhere in the world with more than $300 million of great American patriotic money. Patriots' money. No, it isn't. It's your money out the treasury. How do I know? Donnie wrote that phrase that he's paying with Patriots' money. No. That's how I know it's a lie. He wouldn't mention it. If other people were paying for it, he just wouldn't mention it. This is a gift, zero taxpayer funding. He doubles down. He says it again. We didn't ask you to say it twice, son. Why are you explaining yourself twice? Because you paying for it, dumbass. To the United States of America, $300 to $400 million, depending on the scope, quality of interior finishes, for a desperately needed space sought over 100. I'm not reading anymore. He got sued and he's mad. And if he needs to say 2 times that you're not paying for it, that tells me you are paying for it. Well done, Marks. Back to the pock-faced hag on Fox News. If he was disarmed, is it protocol to use deadly force? That's all part of this investigation. They clearly feared for their lives. No, they didn't. They jumped him because they outnumbered him. Not one of them would fight him one-on-one. He was a nice-sized guy, actually. None of them would have fought him one-on-one. They all would have bitched out. There's about 9 or 10 of them. So, they just jumped him. They pistol whipped him. They executed him after they took his gun because, they didn't want to get hurt. They didn't fear for their lives at all. It's the citizens who should be fearing for their lives because of the Gestapo, and that's exactly where they want you, son. That was the point of it. Two executions on the street of U.S. citizens, outright murders, and there are not 10 million people out on the streets. They got away with it. Precedent set. Go-ahead's been given. You could be next. It's too late. Oh, they'll lie. After they kill you, they'll lie and say you were a terrorist and you brought a gun, or maybe you did. Maybe they'll just throw a gun next to your body. Who fucking knows? And that's if we're lucky enough to get it on tape. If it's not on tape, they'll just cap you in the back of an alley and fucking, go not have a nice hot meal. I'm not kidding. Second direct witness to Alex Preddy's killing comes forward. Court declaration. This is straight from court documents. I saw him yelling at the ICE agents, but I did not see him attack the agents or brandish a weapon of any kind. Suddenly, an ICE agent shoved him to the ground. Yeah, we all saw the tape. We know what happened. Dana Bash and the Nazi Hobbit again. So where do you have the evidence to show that he was trying to impede that law enforcement operation? Sure, Dana, at first he was there in the scene. He was in the scene actively impeding and assaulting law enforcement to the point. No, he wasn't at all. That's not illegal. He wasn't impeding it. He was filming it, which is a legal thing to do in the United States. I know you people will never do this. I wish some of you reporters on live TV would say, why are you lying about this? Would you like us to play the tape, Mr. Bovino, of the moment you just lied about? We can do that. I know you people will be afraid you'll get sued or murdered or arrested, but you needed to say shit like that. Too late now. Again, the Nazi Hobbit and Dana Bash. Where did he assault a federal officer? It looked to us from every angle that he was approached by them when he was helping another individual who was pushed down. Dana, we don't need a suspect's help in an active law enforcement. I hate you. You know who needed help? The woman they pushed to the ground. And that's what the guy was doing. He wasn't helping ICE. He was helping the woman they were assaulting. Literally. She did need help. Midget. And I don't mean to offend all little people. I'm not talking about groups here. I'm talking about specific individuals, just like I was back in the rock star days when people wanted to lie. So when someone is pushed down by law enforcement, you're saying you just stand back and let law enforcement do what they're doing? Follow directions of law enforcement. In other words, comply or die. That's what the cunt midget just said. Donnie in hiding, trying to flip the script, posted this. Minnesota is a criminal cover-up of massive financial fraud that has gone on. Again, Donnie wants to say things like this and flip it because he knows he is responsible for 2 murders. And this is what Donnie always does when we cross another line. I've already told you. He goes into hiding for a few days and he tries to flip the script. Because he's worried about the pitchforks coming out. Yeah, Donnie, this doesn't make me personally forget that you're an abject murderer. And that this is all your fault. And that you're going to burn so bloody hot, Donnie. And you know it too. I know you do. Enjoy the teenage girls now. Because you got a hurting coming to you, boy, at the hands of the man. Named specifically. Ron Filipkowski. All 10 shots were fired after they removed the gun from Preddy's waist. Every single shot was fired after he was disarmed. Yeah, we know. We learned that yesterday. Minnesota State says the Fed seized cell phones and took actions leading to the destruction of evidence that no real cops would do. That's because they're not real cops. They're sent out. They were deployed to murder, steal, kidnap, terrorize. Exactly what they are doing. They're not real cops. They're not law enforcement. They're a masked, armed Gestapo deployed against America by the Reich. That's what they are. They're terrorists. Murderers, thieves, criminals, rapists, pedophiles. From the New York Times frame-by-frame analysis, they fired 6 more rounds after the initial first shots. Let's read quickly. The agent in the gray coat removes the weapon, which matches the profile of a gun DHS says belonged to Mr. Preddy from the scene. Then, while Mr. Preddy is on his knees and restrained, the agent standing directly above him appears to fire 1 shot at Mr. Preddy at close range. He immediately fires 3 additional shots, so 4 and then 6 is what Ron Filipkowski is saying. 10 shots, for one man at point blank fucking range as he's restrained after they take his gun. Because he helped a woman and because he was filming. One, this is abject evil. This is what I knew would come. This is what I knew America would get turned into. Why I started yelling 10 years ago. And here we are. Did you hear what I just said to you? 3 of those shots were in the back. 10 shots altogether at point blank range. 3 shots for Miss Good at point blank. 1 to the face, 1 to the arm, 1 to the upper chest. But from now on, I'll continue to describe it as I have been. Because just because I describe it that way doesn't mean I don't know the details, son. I'm not you. Never forget that. I'll continue to describe it as 3 shots to the face. For speed's sake. One more time, this man was shot 10 times or 10 shots were fired. 3 at least that we know of went in his back. That's after they took his gun. And all he did was film and help a woman. That is your country now. And it's the full court press by the entire cabinet, every single doomed one. Lying about that man, trying to blame Tim Waltz, the local authorities, anyone they can think of to get it off them and the devil boy. Everyone lying about him now has blood on their hands. Now is a murderer as well. That's your country now. I hope you're prepared for it. It will get worse. China is successfully and completely taking over their once great country of Canada. So sad to see it happen. I only hope they leave ice hockey alone. It sounds like Donnie's using China taking over Canada, which isn't remotely true. Carney's just going to make a trade deal. Going to use that as a pretext to, invade Canada or tariff them into oblivion. More bullshit as Donnie's in hiding because he doesn't want to show his face because he knows he's responsible for these murders. Literally, completely, totally. Reminder, it's not legal to execute guilty people either, right? It's America, even if you have a prior record. All the excuses the right-wing grift machine has used in the past 10, 20, 30, 40 years when they execute a black man on the street or whatever, it's always, let's look at his prior record. Did he actually commit the crime or not? What kind of person he is? Doesn't matter, disingenuous cunts destined for the lake that never believed in anything. It don't matter if they've been to prison 87 times. It don't matter if they have a record a mile long. It don't matter if they're in and out of jail. It don't matter if they're guilty, not guilty. Black, white, Christian, not Christian. Woman, man, does not matter. In America, there's a goddamn thing called due process. At least there was before you cunts came along. And police or ICE do not have the right to execute anyone on the street. No matter who they were before the police met them. You cunts. Because I've heard you countless times justify the killing of black men or the killing by people, killing by police of people on the street as, what they did in their past, that justifies it. Or that they have a record that justifies. No, nothing justifies it. In America, you get arrested, you get locked up, and you get a hearing. In dictatorships, you get executed on the street. So it's not okay to execute guilty people or innocent people. Doesn't matter. Not that you care. You'll care when that fire hits your ass, though. Don't worry. Pitchbot. If Democrats really want to have a big tent party that can win in 2028, they will have to make room for people who support having masked secret police indiscriminately murder American citizens. Right. Because that's an opposing view, and we've got to hear both sides. And one side is Nazism, right? That's a valid opinion, right? Eugenics, killing ethnic minorities and Jews, subjugating the population of the country the Reich is centered in. Those are all valid opinions, right? No, they're not. They're incitement of murder. That's what they are. Incitement of slavery. Evil, not valid opinion. Great point the Pitchbot made. And a question before I take a break. How'd the last Reich end up? Never forget that. Every single cunt with their name on it, everyone taking part. How'd the last Reich end up? How'd the last Führer end up, son? Uh-oh. And guess what, Donnie? It's going to be worse for you. Enjoy! And thank you for your attention to this matter. I'll be right back. Okay. Some water real quick. Fucking 121. Okay. Oh, Guns N' Roses. This is kind of surprising because I thought Axl Rose was MAGA. He seems like that type of guy from one of the songs that he wrote years ago called One in a Million. It's a great song too. It's a shame it has some fucked up lyrics. But someone hung a giant Trump doll on the stage. I assume the band was involved. And there's a video, and I posted the link to it in the post section today. Guns N' Roses concert turned into an anti-Trump concert, and they, along with some of the audience, hung the giant Donald Trump and beat him up. And yeah, it's a giant Donald Trump hung from the neck, I guess. And two guys came up with sticks and they were beating the hell out of it, and Slash was walking around the stage, and I don't know. Again, I thought Axl was MAGA, so I'm kind of surprised. I'm glad they're against it if they're all against it. This is a quote. 2 ICE agents went to the store to hand deliver an audit notice asking for federal employment forms, payroll records, and the names of past and present employees, just hours after the store owner's daughter spoke with ABC News and criticized DHS. This is something that's going on, and it happened right after they murdered that guy. They grabbed some of the witnesses and took them away. People that talk to the press, people that protest, people that film, they are getting your faces and names. People that witness, people that talk on camera to the press, again. They are harassing those people, trying to intimidate and scare them. The point is to subjugate the masses. Do you understand, little children? To get you to the place where you're afraid to say anything or do anything. And you're afraid to critique the Reich. You're afraid to protest. You're afraid to film. You're afraid to question. You're afraid to talk shit. You're afraid to talk to the press. Intimidation and violence, mob thuggery has been the part of MAGA since its inception. Now we're at the maximum expression where they murder you on the street with absolute immunity. Let me say that again. With absolute immunity in America after they murder you. Minnesota Department of Corrections issues statements and calls bullshit on Bovino and Noam's claims about the target of ICE op that led to Preddy's murder. The Minnesota Department of Corrections extends its condolences to the man that was shot and killed this morning. I'm shortening this. The loss of life is tragic. Minnesotans deserve transparency and facts. In the hours following the shooting, U.S. Border Patrol, the little Nazi hobbit Bovino, held a press conference asserting that the operation was targeting an individual named Jose Huerta Shuma and characterized him as having a significant criminal history. Because federal statements have repeatedly included inaccurate information about Minnesota custody and criminal records, the DOC reviewed available records to determine whether the individual referenced had any connection to Minnesota State Prison custody. Based on DOC records and court data, the individual identified has never been in Minnesota DOC custody. DOC and court records show no felony commitments associated with this. Public Minnesota court records reflect only misdemeanor level traffic offenses from more than a decade ago. The individual is not currently under DOC supervision. Records further indicate that an individual by this name was previously held in immigration custody in a local Minnesota jail in 2018 during Trump's first term. Any decisions regarding release from custody at that time would have been made by the federal government. They let him out. This man, they said, was so dangerous and violent that the Minnesota authorities let out. That's their story. Look, there's no targeted enforcement. They're going door to door, neighborhood to neighborhood to terrorize. Looking to shoot people. Looking to get that Reichstag fire started. That's what's happening. You know how I know that? The Department of Corrections just proved it. That's how I fucking know that. Here's another lawyer. This video's been going around the internet for a little bit, and I never really paid attention to it. And I took a look at it today. That guy's an immigration attorney. I didn't know who he was. I watched the video. I was wondering if it was fake, because it's very bad. So I looked into it, and I found that he's a real immigration lawyer, and he has clients in that facility in Texas. That's why he was there. So he recorded the video at the concentration camp in Texas. And what you hear are women and children screaming, "Let us go." There was some kind of camp-wide protest that day because of the horrible conditions and because they're keeping people there. Let me say that again. Because they're keeping people there. I'll explain further in a moment. But first, let's deal with this again before I move on. The man made a recording with his phone and filmed himself, the whole thing. What you hear in the background is women and children in a goddamn concentration camp that they can't get out of. Let us go. And it's so loud that he, outside the walls, can pick it up on his phone. When you're in the fire and you're wondering why this happened to you, I want you to remember those women and children yelling, "Let me go." And I want you to remember that your name was on it, and you preached its gospel, and you voted for it. Again, cunts and viewers, if you dare let the thought creep into your mind that I'm being too vicious with these people in my rhetoric, I want you to think about those women and children yelling, "Let me go," in the concentration camp. That should make you feel better right quick. And he explained on camera, you can hear it, you can hear what they're saying. They're saying, "Let me go." That's why I hate you. That's why you will burn. And this is the lawyer. His name's Eric Lee. This is his account on Twitter. So this is a second immigration lawyer that I'll be discussing sometimes. As my tweets about Dilley protests go viral, please note Dilley is the name of the camp, I believe, in Texas. The clients I was visiting have been detained for 8 months. 8 months in the concentration camp. That may be a Dilley record. Includes twin 5-year-olds, 9-year-old, 16-year-old, and 18-year-old plus mom in jail for something their dad did, not them. You know what else that proves? That was women and children in that recording. His clients are literally a woman and children. And they've been there 8 months. Why you need to keep a woman and a bunch of kids there 8 months? Mr. Abbott, human trafficker, who gonna burn? You think that tree falling on you was bad, son? Wait till that fire hits your ass. You wish you were back under that tree. Piece of shit. A whole family, mostly children. 2 5-year-olds. What do they need all them women and kids for, I wonder? Why are they holding them for so long, I wonder? Why were they all yelling, let us go? Why are they in the concentration camp for 8 months? I thought the point was to deport people, not put people in camps for long term, right? Nah, I always knew that was the point. That's what concentration camps are for. Okay, here's somebody making a point. Shouldn't have been filming, shouldn't have been defending yourself, shouldn't have protested per your right, shouldn't have used free speech, shouldn't have been carrying as your right, shouldn't have exercised any of your rights. A true American does nothing. Indeed, those are the arguments of convenience you cunts always make when one of your people kills somebody. And by your people, I mean right-wing grift machine destined for the lake. Whether it's a black man killed by the cops over and over again that we see over years, or what's going on now. Just let us kill you. Just let us rape you. Just let us steal from you. Just let us kidnap you. Just let us hold you in a camp for 8 months or indefinitely. Those are the arguments they always make, and those are the same arguments Adolf Hitler made as he sent the brown shirts out to fucking commit violence against the community. You heard Brovino? Those 10 guys that were holding Mr. Preddy down. They're the victims. That's what you're dealing with. Liars that right on the sack of Satan. That's always the Reich's argument. It was the same in 1930s, same now, same argument. Just let us kill you. Let's let us attack your city. What's the problem here? The executioners are the victims. Guy sprained his finger pulling the trigger 11 times. Have some sympathy, man. Conservatives suddenly being anti-gun so they can side with a tyrannical government should confirm they don't actually stand for anything. I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed. They're just contrarians who side with whatever is the most evil. My God, have we seen that in the past 10 years? The competition by the right-wing grifters and people in government and just peasants in general who can say or do the most evil thing. That's what makes you famous in satanic MAGA land. And every one of you cunts are of Satan, son! Just want you to know that. Whether you agree or not, don't matter when that fire hits your ass. Who wins the argument does it. Nah, it won't. That's the thing. You people never believed in anything. That's why you were malleable enough to hand over your fucking country and ours too. Because you're that goddamn worthless. Again, the midget hobbit at the fucking podium. I look at this is the apocalypse. A fucking midget at a fucking podium. 8 times his size. Lying about a dead man he just helped execute. The fuck? Fuck you people. And you know who I'm talking to. Choosing or making a choice is one of the only true freedoms that any of us really have. Really? Because you're not letting us make any choices. Might get murdered just stepping out our front door with you masked cunts walking around. When, as a politician, you choose collusion and corruption as a choice, it's talking about the people in Minnesota, the government, colluding with some imaginary nefarious entity that doesn't exist. Then there are consequences and actions that take place because of that. That's one reason CBP and ICE are here in Minneapolis by the thousand. No, they're trying to make that argument again that people in Minnesota in government stole and they're colluding with who? The citizens you're murdering? Fucking $2 midget. Fuck you. God, Lord, can I have the privilege of just chilling by the lake and watching him burn and roasting marshmallows? Please? I'll be a good boy, I swear. Back to the pock-face hag. 5 people also died in immigration detention so far this year. Why is immigration enforcement becoming so deadly under your tenure? Immigration enforcement is exactly what the American people asked for. Really? I didn't ask for it. And we're not talking about immigration enforcement, you pock-face hag. We're talking about people dying in your concentration camps. You know the reason you're going to burn? Those extensions will go up nicely. What's a shame is some Americans did ask for it. That's why they're going to burn. Again, back to the Nazi hobbit. Footage shows him holding a cell phone, not a gun. Did he at any point pull out his weapon? She already knows the answer to that question. We do know that the suspect did bring a weapon, a loaded 9mm high-capacity handgun, to a riot. There was no riot, 1. There was no protest, 2. And he didn't brandish the weapon. He didn't pull it. And he got executed by the cunt Gestapo. The people that the midgets sent out to terrorize Minneapolis. That wasn't her question either. Did he pull the gun? He didn't answer the question. Because if he says no, that looks bad. And they'd rather do anything than look bad. They'll tell any lie on anyone. Especially the Nazi hobbit. He seems especially comfortable with all this. Don't worry, he won't be comfortable in the lake. Wall Street Journal. I believe that's Rupert Murdoch's publication. You know, the one that published the birthday letter from your pedophile messiah to Jeff Epstein. Remember that? Guaranteed, proven, indisputable, son. Remember Donnie lied and said he was going to sue Rupert and then he never sued? That's how I know your boy's a pedophile. He never sues when you call him a pedophile. Isn't that interesting? You're on team pedophile. I know that doesn't bother you. Don't worry, it will. It will. It'll be too late when it does bother you. Because when it bothers you is when that fire is going to be burning your ass. That's definitely, the too late point. When your ass is melting. Too late. That's what I tried to save you from. Even though you'd like to see me dead. Videos save us all from. It wasn't a selfless act. It was for me and you. Videos contradict U.S. account of Minneapolis shooting. Federal authorities claimed Alex Preddy forced their hand in Saturday's deadly encounter. A frame-by-frame review appears to tell a different story. Don't matter how you watch it, it tells a different story. Don't have to be frame by frame. Back to the Nazi Hobbit. Was Alex Preddy armed when he was shot? Again, the investigation is going to uncover all those facts. We already know he wasn't. We watched the tape. And so does the midget. If you're investigating, isn't it possible this was a bad shooting? I haven't concluded anything. Really? Because you guys are calling him an assassin. He was at the wrong place. He interjected himself. What's one of the recent things the midget said? We do know the suspect brought a weapon, high-capacity handgun, to a riot. So he said it was a riot. He's painting the guy as a dangerous individual. I don't know. It sounds like the Reich made a lot of conclusions. A number of female detainees at Camp East, Montana, including those waiting for hearings, told me as much. They just want to get out of the U.S. and were literally begging to be deported after being held there for months and feeling utterly hopeless and traumatized. Class, I know the rest of the rubes won't care. Maybe you'll care. They're not deporting these people. They're keeping them in the camp long term. Obviously for some future use. And maybe some use now too. And I think you know what I mean. Women, they're holding. And children. I haven't heard the stories about men yet. Maybe I will, I don't know. Right now, I'm hearing stories about women and children by lawyers. That they're being held long term. Gee, I wonder why they would want to hold women and children long term. Of what use could they be? You know the answer to that question. They're begging to be what, class? Deported. They just want to get out of the camp. Why won't they let them out of the camp? And our lawyer happens to be in the comment section here. Aaron Reichlin Melnick. Because this is his field. It's awful. A mentor of mine, an immigration judge who was fired by the Trump admin, Just spent a week there volunteering, told me it was completely awful. And she has a career spanning decades in immigration law on both sides of the bench. So that's a lot coming from her. He's co-signing that this is going on. And he's credible. You are not. He is. The other lawyer speaking to this, Eric Lee. I had this exact experience, East Montana client. Conditions were horrific, called me begging in tears for me to help him get deported. Okay, that's a man. Anyone who says this is civil detention and non-punitive is lying. I also know what it is. They need these people for the future. And if it's women, I know what they're going to use them for. And if it's children, I know what they're going to use them for. And if it's men, they're going to use them to work. And eventually, extermination. If that hasn't begun already. Why are they holding them long term? Why are they begging to leave? Why aren't they letting them go? Human trafficking. Minnesota National Guard members have arrived at the site of the federal building and have been ordered to distribute donuts, coffee, and hot chocolate to anti-ICE protesters. They were given reflective vests so protesters don't confuse them with federal agents. What I'd really like to see, Mr. Walson, I know you're scared to do it, and I don't blame you. These guys with their rifles standing in front of the protesters so ICE can't touch them. Facing ICE, not facing the protesters. That's what I want to see. I notice the Black Panthers are out with their guns again. I notice ICE doesn't fuck with them. Maybe more people should take a lesson from the Black Panthers and start arraying themselves as the Black Panthers do. Maybe there'll be a lot less murders on our streets, since the cops won't do jack fucking shit. I kill people because a pedophile tells me to. Yep, that's you in the mask, son. That's your existence. You're the hand of Satan, the hand of the pedophile. Killing, kidnapping, raping, stealing, terrorizing. You are domestic terrorists. Are you proud of yourself? The man will not be pleased. Again, how many right-wing cunts did we have to hear with the masks during COVID? If you pick one of the same right-wing cunts and say, what do you think about the mass police force? Oh, that's great. Wait, I thought you didn't like masks. Men brought guns inside the Michigan State House to protest pandemic lockdowns, and no one shot them. Here's the picture. We've seen this over and over. Right-wingers with rifles, whatever, guns at protests, all kinds of places. So that argument doesn't hold water. Disingenuous hypocrites destined to burn. I'm sorry. Not an excuse to kill. I know he was a liberal and shit. Or at least he wasn't down with MAGA. I know that at the very least. I know in your mind that makes him okay to kill, but in reality that doesn't make it okay to kill. Just because you don't like their ideology. You have none. Again, you're an empty shell with talking points. How do I know? Again, the Second Amendment thing happened right now. You don't believe in jack shit. Back to the midget Nazi hobbit. The man was previously in federal immigration custody, then was released by the Trump admin in 2018. You talk about choice. That was also a choice to release this individual that you were targeting. What's the little midget's answer? I don't know the particular case in 2018. Yes, you do, midget. Yes, you do. That's the guy I was just talking about. Their targeted law enforcement operation where they were looking for this really dangerous guy that the Minnesota authorities let out. That was their story. Then the Minnesota authorities said, no, he was in federal custody and they let him out. And he's really not that dangerous either. They made the whole thing up. When it's put in Bofino's face, I don't know the particular case in 2018. Yes, you do. You were lying about it. Of course you do. You used it as an excuse to be that you were in the area. We know that was a lie now. It's clear Stephen Miller would just do another Holocaust if he had the opportunity, psychopath. Yeah, what do you think the plan is? You're in it right now. It wasn't just Jews that were killed and rounded up and jailed and tortured and terrorized. It was liberals first. Same road we're all on right now. In other words, class, I don't know if you realize, the Holocaust has begun. It didn't get to the Jews yet. Don't worry, it will. It always does. Starting with the liberals, just like Adolf. Same thing. Concentration camps already up and running. People have died in them. Who knows what's going on? They could be exterminating people right now for all I fucking know. Seacot? My God. The camps these lawyers are talking about? Bunch of women and children and men, they're never letting go? I don't know if this person realizes. Class, I don't know if you realize. The Holocaust already started. And before January 20, that was Stephen's plan. That was Donnie's plan. That was Leon's plan. That was Greasy Pete Thale's plan. That was Pete Hegseth's plan. That was Dr. Oz's plan. That was RFK Jr.'s plan. That was Kristi Noem's plan. That was Pam Bondi's plan. That was Miss Levitt's plan. And so many more. Mr. Besson, they're all Nazis, son. They're all white supremacists. They ain't hiding it. Donnie had Hitler's speeches next to his bed. You're already in the Holocaust. Again, why I was yelling for 10 fucking years trying to stop this. Trying to beg anybody that would listen not to support it. You are already in the Holocaust. That ain't drama. And yes, liberals will get arrested en masse, just like Adolf did. They're the only stumbling block in government to full Reich. Liberals out on the street will be killed and arrested en masse. They're the only stumbling block to full Reich. The right-wing nationalists has already bent over and they taken it, son. Foregone conclusion. You're all that's left. Once they round you up or kill you, it's over. We almost there. You're already in the Holocaust. And yes, son, these are Nazis. So yes, that Holocaust can come and where, guess what, class? To the Jews. It always does. And that was the plan before J20. Holocaust. Death. Reich. Nazism. Satan. That was the plan. It's not he would like to do a Holocaust if he had the opportunity. He is doing a Holocaust. Right now, same order it went last time. Liberals first. Let me repeat that because I lost connection. Liberals first, then the Jews. Yeah, gonna go there. Yeah, gonna go to extermination, roundups, mass arrests, all of it. Murder on the street. We've already execution, public executions. We've already seen it. You're already in the Holocaust. He's already, how do I put that? He's already doing another Holocaust. You're already in it. Again, I'm not exaggerating. That was the plan before J20. It's not he would like to, he's already doing it. This picture is amazing, and it's an artistic rendering using AI, I assume, of the execution of Mr. Preddy. That's America now, and that's defended. That's absolute immunity. That's what they say about the man with the gun. Mr. Bovino, the midget hobbit Nazi, says the man with the gun is the victim. That's how inverted your world is now. Speaking of the Nazi hobbit, between your agency and ICE, we've now seen 2 people shot and killed within 17 days. Do either of you plan on taking any accountability? You're correct. 2 suspects have been shot, and suspects that assault or threaten law enforcement officers' life, it goes back to poor choices. No. The poor choice was giving the nuclear football to Donnie shitbags. And all you rubes, when you're crying, when you're standing in line, wading into the lake, you'll know what poor choice means. Not what Mr. Bovino means. They weren't suspects in anything. They were just American citizens. And the Gestapo was literally deployed against you to kill you, to rape you, to steal from you, to terrorize you. That's what they're for. That was the plan. You're already in the Holocaust. Enjoy, and thank you for your attention to this matter. Mr. Bovino will understand his poor choice. He'll understand that phrase so much better when he's standing on the banks. Reporter talking to the couch fucking pedophile, and that looks like this. I don't know if this is from today, but it's a great piece of work here. So you agree that people who break in and vandalize a building should be prosecuted? J.D. Vance, the couch fucking pedophile. Yes. Okay, I'm just checking because you helped raise money for people who did so on January 6th, right? Again. Believe in nothing. JD's a fucking pedophile who changed his name twice because he's a pedophile. Do you think he gives a fuck about the law? Donald Trump's a pedophile. Do you think he gives a fuck about the law? Now I'm convinced the Epstein files contain snuff films. Yeah, me too. Me too. But he's making a point how all this is a distraction from Epstein. No, it's not. It was the plan before these people got back in. Back to the pock-faced hag. These are the individuals who were in charge when Minneapolis burned in 2020. It appears they're following the same playbook. And the reason they're doing it is to distract from the corruption they have facilitated. Nope. The reason she just said all that is to distract from the force they've deployed against you to murder you, rape you, rob you, terrorize you, kidnap you. She said all that to distract you from that and invert reality as if she's not a murderer born of Satan. Unfortunately, she is. And she gonna burn hotter than the coals on a lakeside barbecue. And there won't be any Xanax to alleviate the pain. TMZ. Minneapolis killing, new video shows Trump administration created false story. Preddy posed no threat. TMZ looks like that. This killing of Alex Preddy reveals a dark truth about the administration's view of gun rights. They are not universal. I've been, again, saying this for years. They're reserved for the right kind of people. If you're a MAGA supporter, your gun is a symbol of freedom. If you're a protester in Minneapolis, your gun is proof of terrorism. Arguments of convenience. Believing in rights for yourself and not for the people you don't like. The right to bear arms has been replaced by the privilege to bear arms. It was always that. The right wing always been talking about shooting liberals. They never wanted liberals to have guns. They've always fantasized about this moment we're in right now. The right to bear arms has been replaced by the privilege to bear arms contingent on political alignment. This is the hallmark of a malicious state, not a constitutional republic. No, it's the hallmark of a Reich. And in a Nazi, right-wing nationalist, white nationalist Reich, the liberals are the only stumbling block to full Reich and full authoritarianism. Because the right-wing nationalists, the peasants at the bottom, they're malleable sheep. So they're worthless. They're out the fight. In fact, they're the enemy. They're the ones helping the Reich. They're the ones that'll be killing you in the masks. So again, the liberal people and the people that are not in the cult, they're the only defense against this. And they won't win. But I commend your effort, and I'm not telling you not to fight. However you do that. Back to the pock-faced hag. Our law enforcement are doing everything they can to protect the public. You mean murder the public? Because that's what it looks like to me. Again, inversion of reality. Not twist, not spin. Inversion of the devil. We're praying for the deceased loved ones, family, and friends, but we also recognize that the Minnesota and Minneapolis governor need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and know, Miss Gnome, you do. Unfortunately, Miss Gnome, it's too late. I know you're not going to turn away. But the audacity to say the Minnesota authorities need to look in the mirror. They ain't out there murdering people. That's your people, Miss Gnome, and that blood's on your hands too. Don't think the man doesn't have that blood on your hands. Doesn't give you credit for it. Because he does. They need to evaluate their rhetoric, their conversations, their encouragement of such violence against our citizens and law enforcement officers. The only one I see committing violence against citizens is mass Gestapo cunts sent by this haggard cunt with a bunch of holes in her face. Utter inversion. The agitators are the Gestapo, ICE. The terrorists are the Gestapo, ICE. The murderers, the criminals, the rapists, the pedophiles, ICE. Unbelievable. I can't believe this is our world, our country now. It's exactly like the story says. Again, why I've been yelling for 10 years. I knew if we were in this thing, if Donnie was who I thought he was, this is where we'd be. Notice how every cabinet member does not hesitate to flip reality. They all do it. Levitt, Herr, Bessett, Nutlick, Donnie, Hegseth, Bovino the midget, Mr. Charles. Every single one. Do you notice? JD, the couch fucking pedophile. Further proof this is of Satan. This is supernatural. These people are of Satan. They in this 100%. Every single one of them, again, without hesitation, they flip reality, they invert it completely. You can't deal with that legitimately. It's meant to terrorize. It's meant to subjugate. It's meant to be evil. When they're all out of excuses, it's just going to be, well, he's a liberal, so he deserved to die. Some in my mentions are already there. Son, they've been there since 1945. They've been wanting to kill liberals. I've heard the talk. I've seen the talk. It's become part of our culture. It's become normal. Having murder in your heart for people you don't like. That's normal. That's a legitimate opinion. That's a legitimate ideology in the right-wing grift machine, and it has been since before I was born. Donnie is capitalizing on that, just like Adolf Hitler capitalized on that. In other words, we're already there where a percentage of the public says, and the government says, they're a liberal. It's okay to kill them. In fact, that's why we sent the Gestapo out there. I'm not kidding. That ideology. Because they want to build a Reich. And you and I are the last stumbling block. Because we're not in the cult. So they'll use that ideology that liberals deserve to die to get their Reich built. Because you're the only thing standing in the way of them building their Reich. Your domestic terrorist update. Tyler Gramlin. Let's read a little bit about him. Suspected kidnapper terrorist. Borden, Indiana. CBP. Customs Border Patrol. Tyler Orion Gramlin, 32, of Borden, Indiana, is a Border Patrol agent who has traveled from state to state committing extreme violence. In Jan 2026, Gramlin emptied a can of pepper spray directly into the face of a prone protester at point blank range in Minneapolis. I showed you this picture. Mr. Gramlin is being given credit for it. You know, they hold down guys, shoot them in the back 3 times, hold down guys, emptied a can of mace right in your fucking face. I'm sure, again, that doesn't do any permanent damage. Right, Roops? This is right before the spray attack. I guess his mask came off that day. I don't know. So again, domestic terrorist Tyler Gramlin from Borden, Indiana. Oh, this is a quote from Donnie, and we're finally at the end. And a picture of Kyle Rittenhouse just happens to be underneath of it. I don't like any shooting. I don't like it. Yes, you do. But I don't like it when somebody goes into a protest and he's got a very powerful, fully loaded gun with 2 magazines loaded up with bullets. Also, that doesn't play good either. Really, Donnie? Doesn't play good, you say? It played good then. And this con had an assault rifle, this fat doughboy, who was too afraid to enlist, since he likes to play with machine guns. Again, you people never believed in anything. And Donnie, oh my God, he's the maximum expression of doesn't believe in a damn thing except the grift. Straight up used you people. He was a Democrat most of his life. He didn't have any beliefs then either. He just, felt that was better for him at the time. That's all. He was never a Democrat or a Republican. But he knew his moment. What was his moment? When the black guy was president. He knew that was his moment. He knew. He saw that situation. He's like, I'm going to get these fucking marks on the hook with this. And boy, did he. You people ate it up like oatmeal. And just handed it all away. And you ain't ever getting it back. So he saw the black guy as president, time to switch to Republican. Time to demonize the black guy, because I could use that. I could ride that wave into the grift, baby. What I've been dreaming of since the 80s. As dumbass Marx, he's not a politician. He's a businessman. I saw him on TV say you're fired. That means he's successful. Nope. Mobster his entire life. Filed bankruptcy 7 fucking times. Never a success in anything. Except grifting. So he got you idiots on the hook. He never believed a damn thing. He could care less what you people believe or care about. He got the grift. You gave it to him again. Now the world's over and the country's over. So sad you gave it away for nothing. You gave it away just so you could end up in the lake. Because I know you're going to take the mark. None of that Christianity talk or talk about the mark ever meant anything to you. How do I know? You voted Donnie shitbags. That's how I know. You cannot know Jesus and be supporting Donnie shitbags, even back in 2015. Impossible. And before you load up your talking points and make an argument, before you get mad, concentration camps, mass men murdering people, kidnapping people, people being held in concentration camps indefinitely, begging to leave. Your military deployed against you. Threatening war every 3 seconds, annexing territory, mass murdering people using our military already took place in Venezuela and the Caribbean. Bombing here, bombing there. This is going to such a dark place. And so many of you made it happen. And so many of you are going along. My point is, before you make your argument to try and win the debate or prove that you're a decent human being, your name is on all those things I just mentioned. Your name is on Jeff Epstein's best friend, who is a proven pedophile. Never mind all the other pedophiles in the cabinet and elsewhere that your name is on. What I'm trying to say to you is your talking points, your theories on what life should be, your ideology, worthless. All that matters is this. Don't matter how you got there, how you justify it, don't justify it. Doesn't matter what you got to say. what talking points are in your shell. All that matters is your name is on the Antichrist and this Satan that's going on. That is what you will be judged for. The nuances of the situation, goddamn irrelevant. Your thoughts on it, irrelevant, meaningless, worthless. All that matters to the man is, are you on the side of the devil or not? Right now, if your name is on this, you are on Team Devil. And again, I don't care if you agree with me, and neither does the man. He doesn't give a fuck what you think. Is your name on the Antichrist? And children being gassed, children being pepper sprayed, children being kidnapped, children yelling in concentration camps, let me out. Men and women being murdered on the street by masked cunts with immunity. Is your name on that? That's all the man's concerned with. Nothing else in your worthless head matters. Nothing else that comes out your worthless mouth matters. Is your name on the devil? Are you going to take the mark? That's all that matters. I suggest you get your name off it. I suggest you don't take the mark. Have a wonderful evening.